I can honestly say I don't hate anyone. It fundamentally is against my whole belief system, how I live my life. Hating someone makes no sense to me. Because even for people who could even be deemed as enemies of me, I don't want bad things to happen to them. I want good things to happen to bad people. Because to me, the way I see it, that's redemption. If we simply think, well, that person, it does bad things and I don't like them and I don't like what they believe, so I hope bad things happen to them, curse them. Well, does that solve the problem? Whether it's they die in a car accident or they end up imprisoned or whatever bad things we would want to happen to them, does that make the situation better by just kind of eliminating them from society? See, the way I look at it is, I want them to be restored. I want them to be redeemed. That's what I want for enemies. And that's my outlook on not just people around me, but worldwide. Whether they're political enemies of the country or whether they're people that you work with and just can't seem to get along with. I don't want bad things to happen to them. I want good things to happen to them. I want them to become better people. And this idea that flipping somebody off or cursing them out, like that's going to help things? No. What if you actually prayed for your enemies? What if you dedicated positive thoughts towards that person being blessed in a good way? Doesn't that make more sense? Just for me, I just can't hate anyone, because to me, hate means that I'm not forgiving someone. And I know that if I don't forgive someone, I'm putting myself in a situation where that person, whether they know it or not, whether they care about it or not, they've got power over me. They've got power over my thoughts, my emotions, my ability to move forward in a positive way. If I don't forgive a person, they win. Again, they may not even know that they've upset me, but if I let them have that power over me. So what I have to do is I have to live my life in a way that I'm constantly, always instantly ready to forgive anyone. And of course, one way it's even easier to do that is to not let yourself become offended to begin with. And that was a lesson it took me most of my life to finally understand and accept. But I can honestly say, I'd say at least the last year of my life, no one's been able to offend me. No one. Because I don't give them power to offend me. So if you live your life in a way that you don't allow people to offend you, because you're making that call, not them. No one can make you feel offended without you giving them permission. You do know that, right? So I've put this to the test the last year of my life. No one at all, no matter how close they are to me or how foreign they are to me in my life, I don't allow them to offend me. Therefore, it actually eliminates the need to have to forgive somebody if they're not offending you to begin with, right? So that's another reason not to hate someone. I just don't see how I could live my life if I hated anyone at all. It just makes no sense to me. What makes the most sense is to pray for anyone that you could possibly be deemed as an enemy. That's what makes the most sense. Having enemies, it just simply doesn't make sense. Don't you want the best for me? Don't you want people to be redeemed? Punishing people is not simply the cure. It's one thing if they commit a crime and they need to be in prison for it, but in general, I think most people that we would deem as our enemies are not people who actually committed crimes. They're people who we probably allowed to offend us. We gave that power to them. That's my challenge to you. To not let people offend you, because they're going to win always if you let them. And then you're just going to have to end up going through the thing of having to forgive them and not hold grudges. Just don't give them the power to begin with. Then you won't have enemies. But if you do, pray for them. Don't curse them. Anybody can do that. Wish well upon them. Hope better for them so that they can get things straightened out. You know what? When people, quote, offend you or are rude to you, you know why they're doing that, right? It's because they don't have peace inside their life. They don't have inner peace. So they treat you according to how they feel about themselves, which is not good. They want you to feel as miserable as they do. So if you treat them with the same power they're giving you back, fighting fire with fire, and we all know that that is pointless. You have to fight fire with, what, water, right? Isn't that how firemen do it? I'm not a fireman, but I'm pretty sure that they know not to fight fire with fire. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe there's more to it than I realized. Just imagine that. Imagine if that's how we handle those situations. I still think the root of the problem is not letting ourselves become offended and not giving them that power to begin with. But what do I know? I'm Nick Shell, and I'm here to challenge you. Pray for your enemies, and get to the point where you don't hate anyone, and even get to the point where you don't let people offend you. I could be wrong. My name is Nick Shell.